Welcome everyone, my name is Mike Hamilton and just going to look at the markets ahead of UK GDP tomorrow. So I'm doing this midday UK time on the Wednesday the 15th of April. And so this is the dollar index dominated by euro and secondly the pound. And so this is falling off. So we got a spike higher with the recent volatility and geopolitics. Now the markets seem to believe that the war is close to coming to an end, so this is coming back to a neutral point. Now, if this breaks, sorry, let's get that out of the way. If this breaks to the high side, it could rein in the markets, and if equally if this collapses, this could have another impact on the market, which could be negative. If the dollar stays at this relatively narrow range and low, that's healthy for the markets. But if we get any sort of expansive move either side of this, that could change things. That could really drag the markets down. Okay, so let's look at the FTSE. And you can see in these two averages, the 50 and the 200, the most recent drop early or mid-March was just into the 200, and we are almost back to where we were at this recent high. So FTSE is brushing this off. We're stable as we come into the GDP. Let's just see what happens. But you can imagine this is a neutral point as the market approaches GDP. If we go under 10,300, then expect a deeper pullback. If we hold here, test 300 and hold, then we're going back to the highs and beyond. Okay, all the time we're above these averages, this market is bullish. Be warned if we start closing under that 10,300, because then we are potentially in bearish territory. And if this drops and we eventually get a crossover, okay, these averages lag, but just watch out for these key levels. And here at the moment, it's 10,300. So above we're bullish, below we are potentially going to see deeper pullback. Nasdaq has bounced hard throughout April. Very few pauses, and we are all but back to recent highs. So if this continues, and if we ultimately close above 26 and hold above 26,000, then we're going to potentially make a run for 30,000. All right. So the theme of today can be averages. If we look at the crossover here, we kissed, and now potentially turning back up and getting more expansive. So if that continues, then don't short the Nasdaq. The key line in the sand for this one is obviously 25,000. If at any time we close under 25,000, be warned, that could get serious. All right. Gold sitting on the 50-day average. Any market that holds the 50-day average is bullish. So if we hold this 4,800, we could, I suspect we'll then close above 5,000 and go back to those highs and potentially make a run for 6,000. Close under this 4,700 and ultimately close under 4,400, then we are going to see a significant pullback. Dollar's weak, so at the moment that is healthy for the gold. So this 4,700, 4,800 is buyable. Oil has declined, but only come back into key support with invents today. So if we hold this 85 low, then we could potentially come back to 100, 108 plus. Okay, so there's a potential bull flag up here. Yeah, this is a ambush support zone. If I just mark that off, you can see all the support there. So we held and broke up here on the 11th of March. Did the same on the 24th of March, and we are attempting to do the same here. So at the moment, as you would expect, with a market that's holding, if we hold and close at this level above 90 today, then expect higher numbers. Break that 85 and we could go and close that gap at 68. Right, so it's still bullish. Right, let's look at stocks. Avon Tech recently tested 1585, 86, currently up there above 18, looking like this could hold. Volumes are improving even at these highs after this push off of 15, 16. So I would expect that to go and find the highs. The all-time highs, or the most recent highs, is August 25, which is up there at 22. That is possible. That's a decent bull flag. So there's sweet move in 25. We've had a series of pullbacks here. So if I just get rid of this, let's clean all this up. You will note that the most striking thing to me is how all of those lows have got bought. And then, so we've got resistance up there. So this is a massive flag. There's the mast. Here's the flag. If we now break 18, 19, ultimately 20, I would expect to see 22 quite quickly. And then where would I target that? I would target, look at this most recent move. So if we really start to get some momentum, we should see at least 23 and then possibly 25 over weeks and months, not days and weeks. All right, so ideally we'd sit back, do nothing, and wait for that to come and test 1650 or 17. So if you're not in this, my suggestion is we see if we can get a bad hair day and see that move down to 17 before picking that up. But if we close above 18, 19 here, then unlikely we're going to see that. So that's Avon Tech. Interesting looking at MONY, Money Supermarket. So we had this breakdown on the 2nd of Feb. Very severe breakdown. The pullback retracement was 172. That saw another move down to 144. I don't trust this stock. We are coming up on low volume. That's one of the crucial things. Yeah, volume is the lifeblood of any single market. And we have come up on a lower volume here. So I'm looking for this to rotate back down to the downtrend. So if you're long, I would stay put and just manage your stops, protect your capital. If I wouldn't short this because that is a decent move higher. I would not want to be short this if this suddenly decides to get above 172. I'm just not in this, not been trading this. I'm just wary that it's yeah, we're under the cosh here. We are above the 50-day average, so you could argue it is bullish from that point of view. But any move under 160, and this is going to be in trouble. So if you're in it, and you're in profit, well done. Just be careful as we get towards this 172, because that's you can see all the history down there. In fact, let me move that down a bit. We're literally close to these January 25 lows right now. On the bullish side, if you're in this and that closes above 170, then I'd expect to see that get back to 185 plus quite soon. And if the volume kicks in, then we could really start to gain traction up to £2 plus. So that's the bullish scenario. See how we go. Capita. I bought this down here, I can't remember the exact price now, around about 235, I think. Took it off on that move into 275, and now we are floundering. I do think if you're prepared to sit in this and just wait, then you could be handsomely rewarded if that holds. But just be warned, if we break this structure, this price structure, and start closing under 250, then that could come tumbling down to 180 or further. All right, volumes are not great. They're sustaining this price, but they are not great. But like I said, bull side is close above 285, £3. This could run back to the highs. But if we fail here or come up to £3 and then turn around with all that resistance up there, this could tumble. But on the face of it, if you're in it and prepared to hold out, then just obviously manage your risk, which I know you will anyway. Well, I'm hoping you will. If you want an in on this, then try and pick up 250 and get a stop under that 220 if you want in on that. This is a cheapie, Tech Capital, 7p. I am I think I'm just about underwater by a small fraction. As it's a cheapie penny stock, I've not filled my boots on these, because if they do, there's a gap up there at 10. If they do move, you can make a reasonable amount of money with a relatively small amount of capital. If they don't, then I've not risked much of my assets, much of my account. All right, so that's Tech Capital, TEK. Short banking, it's come off the £3 mark to 360, so nice little move. It's going to struggle up here because there's a lot of resistance up here. So if you're in it, protect your capital. If at any time soon that closes above 375 and ultimately £4, then you could well see it go to 5+. But I'm very wary of that stock. But if you're prepared to sit in it, protect your capital, then that may come right for you. Commodity rated stuff, the move back from in Rio to 60-70 has produced a move into 75. I would, if you want to in on this, I would wait for at least 69.50, otherwise leave it in my book. Glencore, recent drop to £5, flat here at 5.60, looking a bit precarious, but well, I think that if a bullish consolidation is normally over on a dip, I would normally expect that to sit there and then come down and maybe stop a lot of people out, gather some momentum, gather some volume, and then potentially go up to £6.57. So if you're in this, I would suggest you keep a wide-ish stop, obviously within your own risk management plan, and then see if that can go up a level. Just be very, very wary if at any time that closes under £5. Let's just switch across to the US. Actually, before I do that, let me just look at Lloyd's. So Lloyd's has come off of 87.88, just above the 102, 103 there. If you're interested, I will wait for a repeat of 95. It's going to be, bear in mind we've got GDP tomorrow, so if for any reason this market, particularly the UK market, gets weak into Friday and we dip into the weekend, one of my buying strategies is to buy literally just before the close on Friday, when the markets tend to sort of sag. At least that way I can get a low price and a tighter stop. So if you're interested in Lloyd's, and this does sag, does dip around about the 90-95 mark, and you want to in on that, then try it, but just don't give it too much room given the volatility we've got in these markets. So the banks have been on a bit of a run. RBS is up from £5 to £6.25. Let's just now look at some US stocks. This is BMNR, Bitmine Immersion Technology. So yesterday we touched 23, just over 23. I bought down here about 19 and a half. We did see a move into 24, but very, very late in the day on the March 16. So these got results next week. And look at the volume. So I'm interested in staying in this because just look at that volume. So we are coming up on higher volume. I'm talking about the recent volume here. Sorry, but just that recent volume. So we saw a spike in volume with this move yesterday. If we can sustain these volume levels and get a higher price as we sit on the 50-day average, then this could go and make a move into 25 and hopefully 30 plus longer term. But you could argue we just about filled the gap on that push up on the 16th of March. But next stop is potentially that 29.30 if we do get a run, somewhat, a small run on this. This is Microsoft. So literally this week, Microsoft has pushed off from that 36.70 into close to 40. So this is an area of congestion. So I would hope to see that down there about 37, 37.5 again. Because it's not, the volume has not picked up. So I don't think this price is sustainable. However, I would be very interested in 37.5 now. So that one and a lot of the others in similar to that here. Let's look at AMD. That's almost back to its high at 26, 27. MU, same industry, having a good run. So the chip makers are doing really well. Let's look at Broadcom. That's one of my favorites. Yeah. So a sweet move down there end of March. So that's gone up from around about the 29.5 to touching the 40 mark. So that is now potential buy at 35, 34, 35 if you see it. We're quite extended on the RSI, so I would be patient on that if you want to come in on Broadcom. I think Broadcom, it is an expensive stock. The multiple is very high, very expensive. So I certainly wouldn't buy at this height or anywhere near this. I would wait for a decent pullback. All right, hope that helps. Catch up.